The Brazier has serviced Africa's lower-end market for generations, both as a stove and heater, but its effects on health and the environment have left a lot to be desired. David Kamenya, Tafadza Makonese, and Vincent Molapo, all research students and assistants of the University of Johannesburg, know all about the Brazier. They set up 2 braziers to show the difference in methods and effects of setting up the braziers. The 2 braziers were both loaded with 4 kgs of coal to start the fire. David illustrated the difference.
This is the traditional way how coal fires are written in the lower income communities in South Africa, whereby they put the kindling at the bottom of the ibaula, then after lighting it, they add the coal on top, and that makes a lot of smoke. But somebody called Grandma Mashinini came up with a better method of doing this. And she came with this one whereby you put the coal at the bottom and then you put the kindling on top and you light the fire.
The University of Johannesburg worked in cooperation with the GTZ ProBEC, the German Program for Biomass Energy Conservation, or ProBEC for short. The aim was to develop a stove based on the Brazier concept, which can be used in a safer and still cost-effective manner. The Sustained Energy Technology and Advanced Research Centre at the University of Johannesburg was the perfect testing grounds.
To develop in a laboratory setting test procedures for stoves. Because of climate change and deforestation, there is a lot of interest in the developing countries to prevent the overuse of wood throughout Africa and indeed also in Asia and South America.
Professor Anagorn has been working in environmental research for 36 years between the University of Johannesburg and Wits University. This is the result of their latest research. It's the top-lit downdraft stove, or otherwise known as the Mark III. It's based on the same operating principles of the Brazier, but with significantly less carbon monoxide emissions.
As with any fireplace, it will have a chimney. Okay? But even with the chimney, the value in this new stove, it's got a very low carbon monoxide emission. In other words, even if that gas came into the room, it would not be dangerous from an inhalation point of view.
The war over gas emissions rages on, and the onus is on all of us to do our bit. The university is convinced that it has found a cheaper and effective way of conserving energy. The university is currently working on its 5th model, or the Mark V, and also issues of patency. Professor Anagorn elaborated on the novelties of the innovation.
One of the first and most critical factors is that it is matching the fuel with the stove and the stove with the fuel. Previous attempts to reduce smoke have concentrated either on the fuel or the stove and not looked at it as a system. The second important thing is the downdraft. By directing the air to move downwards through the stove is totally counterintuitive. But this means that instead of hot gas rising into the room space, because in order to heat your pot, you normally have to have the air coming around the pot, and then it means the poisonous gases come into the room. So we make the air go down through the flame and then underneath the fire and then out through the chimney.
Mark III and its successors have to be small, economical, and value for money items. It uses a quarter of the Brazier's coal amount, less firewood, and burns longer, all of which gives it a stronger commercial viability.
The first prototypes are currently being manufactured. That is in October 2010. We will continue testing those prototypes until the end of 2010 and the first quarter of 2011, and thereafter we hope to start with the industrial design to turn it into a consumer product.
South Africa's stockpiles of coal is readily available and could serve as a cheaper alternative to annual rise electricity price. The university is also working on an ingenious plan for distribution.
The distribution, we hope, will be done through the government housing program. The Gauteng government, for instance, is producing something like 5,000 houses per month in the subsidized section, and what our collaboration is that we will put an improved stove into each new house. So instead of marketing it through the normal retail channels, the first captive market will be the government delivered houses, so that when people move into a house, they've got a clean burning stove.
The Mark III may be a small step in the global fight against gas emissions, but it's a big step for low-income households. you.